is no surprise to anybody that I am a huge Swiftie. I think now is the perfect time, as we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Twitter Post Department. I figured now is a perfect time to read like Taylor Swift for a week. So I've got 4 books here that she's either mentioned liking in interviews or has referenced in some of her songs. First up, we've got Normal People by Sally Rooney. Apparently, allegedly, Taylor Swift told a fan that Sally Rooney was one of her favorite authors, and this book apparently is very similar to 'Tis the Damn Season, so it's alleged that she might have taken some inspiration from this book to write that song. Rebecca, which has been confirmed to be the inspiration for Tolerate It, which is an amazing, heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching song. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. In Happiness, she apparently directly references an iconic line from this book. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, which obviously she likes this. She wrote a song for the movie, so those are the 4 books I am going to be reading in this video. They are all very much out of my comfort zone. I have not read any Sally Rooney, and I'm not gonna lie, I have read another book called Talking at Night by Claire Daverly, which is said to be very similar to Normal People and Sally Rooney's writing, and I really didn't like it. So I don't have high expectations for that book, but we shall see. Rebecca, it's just not something I would typically read. I've never considered myself to be someone who really enjoys classics. The Great Gatsby, one that I read while I was in high school. I hated pretty much every book that I read while I was in school. I'm interested to see if I enjoy this more out of the context of something I hated so much. Where the Crawdads Sing, I absolutely loved the movie. Several years ago, probably like 5-ish years ago, 5-6 years ago, I listened to the audiobook of this and I hated it. But however, I have since learned that I am very particular about the way that I listen to audiobooks, and so maybe actually reading the physical book I will enjoy a lot more because I do enjoy the movie a lot. I do have high hopes for this one. Let us get reading. Hello, it's been a couple of days since I started this video, but I started reading Normal People. I got about like 6% of the way into it and then DNF'd it. I don't know why I'm like surprised that I ended up DNFing Normal People. The reason that I DNF'd this book was because of the same reason that I really didn't like Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I didn't like that book because I thought that the 2 characters talked a lot about really inappropriate, uncomfortable topics in high school, and I didn't like that. And we got not far into this book, and certain things were brought up several times in situations that didn't really warrant it, and at one point, no joke, the female main character is watching the male main character play in a soccer game. They don't really know each other, they're not dating at this point, but she looks at him and thinks in her head that she would like to watch him have relations with somebody else. I'm sorry. What? I was like, if this is what the book is like, and I am not even 50 pages into it, like I cannot imagine what like the 75% mark would be like. So I just decided to go ahead and DNF it. I did start Rebecca. I started it several days ago, and it's been very slow going, obviously, because it's a 450 page classic written in Old English. Not really Old English, but like early 1900s English, which I am really only fluent in 2000s English. I've been slow moving through Rebecca, however I think I'm finally getting into it. Goodbye Normal People, hello Rebecca. Let's hope this one goes better than the other one did. I am just over a quarter of the way through Rebecca and I'm already getting heated about this book. Our poor FMC had nobody to look out for her, nobody to protect her from making bad decisions in her life. But I'm gonna sit here, get reading. I've got a Black Rock coffee. So let's keep reading. So I'm currently on page 186 of Rebecca, which is 42% of the way through the book. Guys, I've been reading this book for like over a week. And my mom said earlier, she was like, you've been reading it that long, you must not really like it that much. I'm like, no, it's not that I don't like the book. It's just that it is taking a little bit more brain power than books usually take me to read, you know, as it's like written in fancy words. But overall, I'm just like not sure what's gonna happen in the rest of the book. Like already, the female main character and her husband don't even really like each other, yet they got married. I'm like, girl, what are you doing here? Let's keep reading. Y'all, I am not kidding when I say that I do not know how long I have been filming this video. And I'm still reading Rebecca. But I'm determined to finish it today. I've got about 30% left. This is gonna take me about a little less than 2 hours to read it. So I've currently got 3 hours until I have to leave for work. And then I'll have an hour's worth of breaks while I'm at work to read it. So hopefully in those 4 hours, I can finish reading this book. It's not that I'm not enjoying the book, okay? Because like the actual plot of the book, like, you know, it's enjoyable. I'm enjoying my time when I'm reading it. But it's just, it takes so much brain power because my brain is not used to having to work this hard when I'm reading books, that it's just, it feels like exercise to my brain. Sometimes I just get tired of that, you know? But we're gonna finish it today, okay? And that is actually gonna be the truth, okay? We're not making that up. We're actually gonna finish it. So let's get going. No, I did it. I finally finished reading Rebecca. I put on my Goodreads that I started reading it on March 30th and I finished reading it on April 15th. Took me so long to read that. What did I think about it? It was a fun time, you know. Not at all what I was expecting. I can kind of see where people are like getting the idea that maybe she drew some inspiration for Tolerate It, but also like kinda not. I think the more accurate statement would be that that book was inspiration for No Body, No Crime. There were pieces that I just like missed. Only figured it out by like reading reviews from other people. There were some things I was like doing some research for my blog post for Rebecca today. And some people were saying that like, oh, like the book is about this thing. And I was like, is it really? Because I only saw that in like 20 pages. And then the ending just really, I did not understand the ending and it didn't connect to the beginning for me because I didn't understand what was going on. And the vibes of all of the characters was just like really confusing. Like I couldn't tell what was real and what was just like a character making something up. I mean, it was interesting. I don't think I really understood any of the deeper meaning stuff that like makes this book a classic. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But now it is time to start reading the book that I'm most excited about for this video, which is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Like I said before, I have listened to the audiobook of this before, but I'm super excited to give it a second chance. Time to get to reading. I am about a third of the way into Where the Crawdads Sing, and I don't think I've given a single update. My brother's twerking off camera. The beginning of this book is just so sad. Everyone left her. Like, how can everyone just like leave her behind? Like, I could not imagine leaving like any member of my family like alone. She was like 5 years old and they left her there with their known abusive father. What do you mean? That is devastating. That is so sad. I am enjoying this book much more this time than I did, obviously, the first time I read this book or listened to this book. I honestly think it was probably the thick Southern accents that the narrators had that drove me literally up the wall, because like the dialogue in this book is written phonetically, how the characters, how they would say things. Like I just read something, one of the characters, he was talking about social services and it's spelled SOCHUL, services. So that is interesting. That is giving my brain a workout, like Rebecca did a little bit, like reading these words and trying to decipher what it is that they're actually trying to say. It's taken some effort. My brain just is a little slow. I mean, we're a third of the way into this book and like it's still kind of like slow going, but at the same time, I'm only a third of the way into it. I feel like I guess I just like feel like it's been slow going because I've been reading this book for like a week. I don't know what it is. I guess that the books that I've been reading for this video have just been so far outside of my comfort zone that it's just taking me millennia to like finish these books. Oh my. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel because after this book, the next book is small. Guess what? Still reading this book, but it's currently 10:45 and I just put away my phone and I said, I cannot touch it until I finish this book. According to the dust jacket, Delia Owens is a scientist, and it's really showing through in her writing because she's including like a lot of details about like insects and plants and animals that I feel like a lot of authors wouldn't care about, but since she has a separate passion, it's showing through in her fiction work as well. I'm on the last chapter. Collect my thoughts a little bit on Where the Crawdads Sing. I finished it about an hour ago. I finished reading Where the Crawdads Sing and I definitely will say I enjoyed it more than when I listened to it the first time. This book just has a lot of depth to it, you know. It was definitely out of my comfort zone, not something I usually read. I think it is a very powerful story, reminding us just how much we as humans are impacted by the things that people think about us. We might not care about what they say about us or what they think about us, but our image of ourselves is still impacted by what other people think about us. Kaya, she might not have cared that she was called Marsh Girl, but like she embodied the fact that she was the Marsh Girl, that she lived in the marsh her whole life. And it was like brought up at the end. Was Kaya outcasted because she was different, or was she different because she was outcasted? Like, would she have had a completely different life if the town had accepted her and like taking care of her when her entire family left her? Yeah, probably. I did enjoy this one much more than I did the first time. And if you saw my reaction to something that happened at the very end, I don't remember that from the movie. And I don't know if it's just because like I haven't seen the movie in a while, or if it's because they left that out of the movie. I don't know what I'm gonna read it yet. We'll come back with that. We're reading The Great Gatsby. I'm like, this is some janky bootleg print of The Great Gatsby. I did not purchase this. I just wanna make that clear. Look, this is the copyright page. That doesn't really look like legit, but this one will be interesting. Time to go get coffee. to read the final chapter of The Great Gatsby. Do I know what's happening? Yes. Do I really understand what's happening? No. Closed the book on The Great Gatsby. See, I feel like people truly don't understand what I'm talking about when I say that I just don't get it. Like, I know that this book is seen as like one of the world's masterpieces. People love it and people claim that it's like their favorite book of all time. And I'm like, are we reading the same book? Because I'm like reading the book and it feels like reading a textbook. I'm glad I finished it. Okay, so now that we finished all of the books for this video, let us give some final thoughts. The first book I started in this video was Normal People by Sally Rooney. I think I maybe got like 15 pages into that before I was like, nope, done, we're not doing that. So we had one DNF. Then I read Rebecca, which literally probably took me like 3 weeks to read. It wasn't terrible. I will say there was probably a lot of aspects of the book that I just like did not catch because it just went over my head. Then I read Where the Crawdads Sing, which I can definitively say is my favorite book that I read in this video. Maybe because it was the most recently written out of the ones that I did finish. I guess like something that's a common theme throughout these books is I do not really like the ambiguity of like books like this. Books that are designed to make you think in a way where they don't share everything outright because they want you to come to the certain conclusions on your own. And I feel like I got a little bit more of like straightforwardness from Where the Crawdads Sing. And then I read this bootleg copy of The Great Gatsby. I feel like I was like just as confused as I was when I read this in high school. I don't even know. Like my brain is just like all confused about different aspects of this. I just really can't like appreciate classics, like books that are considered classics. But anyways, we did it. We read like Taylor Swift for who knows how long. I'd say we had about a 1 out of 4 success rate. Taylor, I love you and I love your music, but we don't really share the same taste in books. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's kind of different from most of the videos that I film and upload. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!